Yeah, hi guys. This is my new video on the RCF trade. I bought this on 21st of November at 98.8 with a stop of just 1 point. This is how it looked like when I bought it. This was the day. So let me first explain you the setup and then why I selected this whole setup and then my entry point and all. So if this is the day I bought, so let's just study before that. It was a very clean setup, huge uptrend, and a very linear one, smoothly going up, then goes into correction, comes back up, then it's down for last 4 days in a row. You can also see this with the rising 20 moving average line. It was a very classic setup here. Broke out, didn't work, and then it was down last 5-6 days in a row. So overall, the structure was positive. We have green, purple days here. This was one red, but this was the high of this bar was got crossed easily. So this is not a worry anymore. So very, very smooth, positive, two purple days already here. And that positive structure is down for last 4 or 5 days in a row. So this was my reason of selecting in my watch list. I wanted to play a reversal in this. All I needed was a strong start. So next day, there was clearly a gap up opening. We can see that there was a slight gap up opening here with open and lower all also the same, almost the same. And then the high of the previous day got also crossed. So clearly we have strong start and a positive setup. We had a positive structure, and that stock gave a very strong start, and I entered at around 9:30. At around 9:30, I got. Let me show you the 5 and how it looked like. So this is how I did not see the intraday. I'm just showing you because now it is in the past. So there is no other way to show how it looked like, how the action was. So there was a gap up opening and then it made a high of 98.85 and then it dipped to 98.30. So because there was already a gap up opening, I had placed my bid right at the high of the day, which was whatever the high was at around 920, 925, which got triggered on this bar. So I got my entry here, and then this is how it behaved the rest of the day. You don't get into the habit of looking at the intraday. Right now, making a video, so that's why breaking it down for you. Otherwise, I was only looking at the daily. There was a gap up opening, and for good 10 minutes. The gap up stayed, and whatever the high of that day was, I placed the bid above the high of the day, which got triggered. And on day one, this is how it closed on day one. This is how the closing was on day one. And towards the end of the day, at around 3 p.m., I added more at 10250 because so what I do is I don't really look track the positions during the day. The most important time is the opening time and how the stock is closing. So when I saw at 3 p.m. the stock was still trading at around 102 level, which was this. So if you see the whole day, the stock had stayed up, did not give back the gains. So, and since it was day one of the move, I took my chances and added a very slight position, slightly more at 10250. And that was the only reason of adding more. I did not even look at intraday and all that. Just my mindset was that this is day one. It has stayed strong the whole day. A positive structure now has reversed with the volume, and towards the closing of the day also it was right at the top. So I added slightly more. The stop for my first position was 1 point. For this position, my stop was 50% of the whole move. Like at that moment, it was 102.50. Since the price was 102.50, let me. So my stop was coming at 100. So I placed stop just below the 50% retracement, because if the move is retracing half of the whole day, then for me it is an average behavior. Then I don't really want to be. So I just played a stop for this position little below it, and for my original position it was at break even. So so my first position, I entered around 98.80. The stop was 97.81 point. Then it moved and stayed strong the whole day. I moved my stop for first position to break even. And then I, towards the end of the day, I created my second position. The stop for that second position was 50% of the whole bar at that time, which was coming to 100. So these were my two positions on day one with two different stops. And then today, this is the day where I added a little more at around 10 a.m. So my idea was same thing, very similar, I would say. At 9:20, it was a very uh, small day, and price was trading somewhere around 103.40 or something. Sorry, 102.50. It was in the red. You can see the intra also. Yeah, this is how the first 15-20 minutes were. This is the first bar of today, second day. So the price opened when goes to 104.30 and then pulls back. And so my idea was, this is just day two of the move. I already have a stock which is very positive, which has a positive structure, and only on the day two I'm attempting. If I buy here, it is going to be only the day two, and the stock is just 6-7% up. It is not some 30-40% up that it looks extended to me. So my idea was to buy. If I really want to add, just add uh in the first 1 or 2 days, so that I don't get late into the move. So my idea here was that it's pulling back. If it crosses uh again, comes near the high of the day, I'll add some more. And which it did. You can see at around 10 a.m., where the time of my tweet is also 10. It triggered my buy, and I was in with slightly more position with 10360. It was less than what I bought on day one, my first position. And the stop was again 50% of the whole move, which was 101. So now I have three positions. First with bought at 98.80 with a stop of 97.80, which I moved to break even later on. Second position bought at 102.50. The stop was 100. And now my third position, again very small size, I added at 103.50 with a stop of 101. So now these three positions are on, and this is how so far the day has, second day has closed like this. Day two has closed like this. I don't have a huge day, but this closing is above the previous day so far. This is how it has behaved in the last 2 days. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how, if it goes higher tomorrow or comes back down. Whatever the case will be, I'll put a update out and we'll let you know. So if you have any questions, just use the member channel and let me know. Thank you. Yeah, hi guys. This is the update on the RCF trade. So in the previous video, I showed you I had bought RCF on this day and then added more on the second time here on 22nd November. So the video is already there and we ended it here. This is how the day two ended. So now let me show you what happened after that and how I managed my trade, what my mindset was. The next day on 23rd November, after closing at 103 something, it opened at it was doing well. It goes to 107. This is how the next day was. This was right around the opening time. You can see the time of the day was 9:30 a.m. So in the first 15 minutes, it started really strong. You can see the open and low are the same. So it was like a good continuation going on. And then it goes to 110, which was around 10 a.m. You can see the time 10 a.m. It goes to 110, and a little later it was 114. So by 10:45 it was moving really really fast. It was 114. So now imagine the stock in just 1 hour, around 2 hours, within like 1.5 hours of opening, has gone from 103, the prior closing, to 114, almost 10% up in just 1.5 hours. It is like a very straight up 90 degrees move. And by then, the volume was already, if you see the average is around 3 million, the volume is already 19 million. So, which is 6 times the average. And it is only 11 a.m. It is not the end of the day. There are so many hours left. And by the end of the day, I'm sure the volume will be really, really high. So for me, this looks like a very extended, fast move. And I usually expect when we get a very 90 degrees, extremely on a very, very high volume, we usually go, the stock usually goes dead and then goes into consolidation, which is like a where we waste time and then at times we just fall flat or we consolidate in the top area. But then one thing is, or the odds are really high that the stock will stall or it will fall back. So at this time, I thought of booking some gains and I closed 40% position at 114. And because I bought at 99 with 1 point stop, I was making good 15 times on that position, and then I had two more entries on the way up, already explained in the previous video. So this was my reason of closing 40%. I wanted to lock because here the odds of pausing were really high. So I did not want to just trail it here, and because if it like pauses and starts drifting lower, it will hit some moving average and I'll be stopped out. So I wanted to lock some at market price. This is what is known as selling into strength. Selling into strength is when the price is going up, that is when you selling, not when price starts drifting down and then you sell. That's selling to weakness. So because I just explained it is only 11 a.m., the volumes are already six times the average. I'm already making good hefty gains, so I thought of locking some position and then trail some. So this was why I closed 40% here. But after just the same day itself, at 10:45, it was six times volume. By 12:30, we can see here the volume was already what, almost 11 times the average. And the price had also gone up from 114 to 11, touched 119. So clearly, if I was worried at 114, I'm definitely more worried here. And uh, at this point, I have two choices. I keep trailing and let try my luck, or I take my profit here. I leave some and I trail, like I book some profit and I trail some. All the third choices which I did, I completely closed it. So my reason of completely closing the remaining portion here was, it was this is the largest day, and I'm really it is up 20% in 3 days, and then 20% in 3 days is not really a problem because 20% I've seen in 3 days, and then we can, I mean, I've seen even 40% in 3 days. That's a problem. 20% is still not that big of a problem. The problem was this day. This is a 90% rise, and this is a third day of the move. Volumes are already 11 times now. And again, it's only 12. It was only 12:30. We still had 2, 3 hours left. So the remaining 60% position also I closed here because I did not want to go with the first two choices of trailing some position, because when the odds are really high of a pullback, then why even leave that position when the odds are really very, very low for another up move? So, and that was the reason, simple enough. I mean, I know that I can always go wrong and the stock can keep going up, but you have to have rules. Otherwise, selling is very difficult. I'm sure most of you now have experienced it and agree with that. Selling is an art that you have to settle down with some rules and then be okay with the outcome. So I was making good 18 times gain, and I just uh, thought that, yeah, because of this, the way it has gone up on day three, I just decided that I don't like this fast of a move with this kind of a volume. We can see, I'll show you the volume on how it ended the day yesterday. Then I closed everything here, and after that, this is how the day ended. Erased some gains, but the final volume was yesterday was 57 million against the average of 4 million. So clearly around almost 15 times average volume, and this is the largest bar also since this rally. So I was like, this was my reason of closing the trade, and I'm out of this trade today. This is how the trade is doing. It is up definitely, but in my opinion, it is going to be an interesting case study for you guys. In my opinion, this is already, it's up today, but not a lot compared to what it was yesterday, and it is slowing down, and the volumes are really high. Usually, big players offload positions like this. So it'll be interesting for you to see what the outcome final is. But I'm out of this trade already on this day, and I have explained you the reason of closing my trade. So yeah, the video is complete. How I bought it, how I added more, how I trailed my stop, what were my stops on different positions, and how I booked my profit. And I got some 20% move in only 3 days in this. I have also discussed the setup in the first video. So again, if you have any questions, use the members club channel and let me know. Thank you.